We talk about cooking, we talk about chefs, and we talk about, isn't it? Because cooking is good. What life is all about.
Yeah, you're right on that.
2 stars in Copenhagen. I was saying that probably this is one of the best and worst places on the world to be a chef on the same time.
Very interesting place. A lot of talented people. Competition is fierce. So you need to be on your toes to keep up with the rest of them. So, but yeah.
But you have a wonderful place. It's quite kind of an old wine cellar.
Yeah, it's not a wine cellar. It's an old cellar in an old mansion in the middle of Copenhagen.
Yeah, right in the center.
Yeah,
wonderful.
Yeah,
but you don't do it on your own. I mean, you've got a partner.
Yes, Christian Orø. He made the restaurant actually, and it's been a restaurant for 14 years. It wasn't called AOC the whole time. It called Premise in the beginning, and I've been there for now 5-6 years. Yeah, it's been a blast.
And where does the name AOC come from?
AOC is it's because Christian he really loves wine. I love wine. Appellation d'origine contrôlée. Yes.
Because he's a sommelier.
Yes. Yes. So it's about terroir, about doing the right things in the right places.
I already explained to the public that you tried to renew a little bit the punky northern kitchen, isn't it?
Yeah, yes. Some people say that. I went to Paris after graduating as a chef, and so I have some French formal cooking training, and maybe it shows a little bit in the compositions, in the flavors.
Okay.
And at one point, the kitchen always changes. The trends change all the time, but it was a little bit punk in Copenhagen at one point, and I just stick to my own style.
Your own style.
Yes.
So let's have a look at his own style. What you're showing us? You're showing us 6 dishes. I think,
yeah, we're cooking 6 dishes, 2 cold starters, 2 hot dishes, and then 2 sweet dishes. And one of them is a very small dish. It's a part of our sweets for coffee, and it will get handed out to the audience. Okay. We made 200. I don't know how many people is here. I hope everybody.
We'll see.
Tastes.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to seeing what you have to show to us.
Yes.
Viel Vergnügen, meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh yeah, maybe no more introduction is needed, but I'm Søren Selin from AOC. This is Kate Austin, my my assistant head chef.
Yeah.
So we're very happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation. It's really nice to be able to come to another country and show what we are up to in AOC. Thank you. So the first dish is it's a cold starter, and it's made with scallops. We get these really beautiful hand-dived scallops from the northern part of Norway. We get them and they are still alive. And I can't emphasize enough how important that is for the dish, because the texture and the flavor of these live caught scallops are just amazing. So we layer it up. It's like a terrine, you could call it, but there's no binding agents. So it's kind of a loose terrine. And so it's thin slices of this beautiful scallop, of fermented asparagus, and pickled daikon. On the side, we serve a little, it's a steamed bun, like the bao bun, but we deep fry it. And it has some mussel powder in. And we have a sauce on the side as well, made out of mussel juice, cream, crown dill, and some dill oil. I can just show the crown dill maybe. This blooms in the late summer, and this is one of these very Nordic tastes I really love. Reminds me of Sweden actually. It's great in sauces. So Kate, how far are we on the scallop?
I'll be like 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's good. Maybe I'll start deep frying the bun.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Because the dish is really very elegant and has some very clear and crisp flavors, I want to mash it up a little bit and serve something deep fried on the side. This is the bun. Oh yeah. So, many times I've been asked about what's your kitchen philosophy, and it's always been a very difficult question for me to ask because it's very personal. Sometimes you don't even know it yourself. It's more easy for other people to pinpoint it. But I've come to this that I don't really have a philosophy, but I have like 3 guidelines, and the first one is get the best product possible. Second one is treat the products with utmost respect. And then the third one is combine the ingredients with creativity. Then I really like approachable flavors. I think I like a dish where you don't have to think about if it's tasting good or not. I want the flavors to just come right out at you and hit you in the head. Okay.
We picked the fiddliest one to do first, with the shaky hands.
The most difficult one,
Yeah.
yes.
Thanks, Søren.
So we're ahead now.
Yeah.
We use a lot of oils in our kitchen. It's a really nice way to bring these super fresh flavors into a sauce. It can be hot, it can be cold. This one is cold. So this is the first serving. As you maybe can see, it looks very simple. I like that the dishes have a very clean and simple expression. We serve so many dishes in AOC, and I don't want people to get tired visually. And yeah, so I'm trying to bring out the ingredients as best as I can. So the next dish, thank you. Just sauce it. Something that happens tableside. All right. Please enjoy. So this next dish is it's a dish where trout is the main ingredient. Some really beautiful Danish trout. It's been we cure it. We get the trout in the early morning, and we cure it for 6 hours. Gets a really nice consistency. We pair it up with a sauce made of butternut squash, and we bring out some flavors which makes it resemble a gazpacho. Okay, some precision work here. Can I borrow that one? Thank you. Sea buckthorn we use as well. Very Nordic ingredient. They grow on the trees. I'm not sure if you have it here in Switzerland as well. I think you do. It's something that's on the trees in the late summer. These have been pickled and made into a juice. So these very fine little layers is we punch out the butternut squash with a leaf cutter. Like this. Kate, I think you can start preparing for the next dish.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, that's the barbecue, right?
Yeah.
Pour in the gazpacho. So you can see that this looks maybe like a flower or maybe a little bit like the sun. And it tastes a little bit like the sun as well. It's very fresh and you get a good mood when you eat this one. Thank you. As you can see, the dishes are maybe very small. But yeah, as I said, we serve 20 dishes in AOC, so it's really important that people don't get too full. Of course, you should always get full, but never. You should have appetite throughout the whole meal. You should always, when you're eating a dish, I think it was Thomas Keller who said this, you should always want one more bite, leave you wanting. So that's why we don't make overly big portions. Did you put it on the grill?
I did.
Yeah. So it's maybe going to take a little longer than normal because the grill is not super, super hot. This dish, I wanted to serve langoustine in the best way possible, of course. I thought a lot about it, and I thought the most tasty way was the kind of the normal way, where you just cut them in half, and put them on the grill, serve it with butter and something acidic. But I wanted to try something else, so we cut this langoustine. We get them really fresh from the island of Læsø in Denmark. We slice them down the middle, clean them, then we put them back together. And we tie them up with a piece of string. And then we grill them. And the heat makes the langoustine grow back together in a way. So we can serve this whole langoustine. And then it's kind of an interactive dish because the guest then gets to open up the langoustine, and then you have 2 half langoustines. This that Kate is arranging right now is it's a broken gel made out of fermented cherries from last year. There is some cherry flower vinegar in as well.
Yeah.
And then we just decorate it with a lot of flowers. I can maybe talk a little bit about which flowers this is. If you can see, I don't know. This is called honey flower. It has a very distinct taste of honey. This is little mini violets. These are wild. This is a basil flower. And this is rapeseed flowers. I'll just get cracking at this one.
There's some lemon thyme.
Attack. Again, the inspiration for this dish was that I want to. I can feel nowadays I'm trying to serve the ingredients as whole as possible. I think there's some kind of a. It's very beautiful to get to see the whole thing. It's not always easy because it should be easy for the guests to eat as well. So we put a lot of thought process into how to do it like this. I don't know if you saw the pear on the little film we have. And then yeah, so it's just myself noticing that I'm going down a specific pathway these days.
I think you work in colours as well. Like if you look at the trout dish, when we develop it, a lot of the ingredients that we use obviously turn out to be similar colours. So that's like a path that we go down when we're creating new dishes.
Yeah, it's sometimes I think it's like ingredients with the same colors. It matches up pretty well, taste-wise. It's not that I'm really trying, but it just turns out like this many times. How far are we on the langoustine?
I think it'll be about 3 minutes.
Okay.
So I've just grilled it on its back, because what will happen is the protein will release like this, and then it will stick the shell together so that when it goes out to the guests, they have to physically pull it apart.
You can go on the langoustine butter now.
Yes.
Are you ready on that one?
Yeah.
So we, of course, we want to use the whole animal when we get a nice creature like a langoustine. We use the claws to make langoustine butter that we serve on the side. As I said, it's an interactive dish, so after breaking it open, you get to pour the butter on yourself and spread out this nice marmalade, you could call it, and flowers. You should get cracking on the lamb, maybe.
Yeah, check.
So I'll maybe talk a little bit about creativity, something I've put a lot of thought into, something people they like to ask about. How do you get these ideas? How do you work in a creative way? So I thought about what is it? I have some different tools, you could say, to try and get new ideas. It is difficult. The first one is something I call the ping pong. And that's when me and Kate, for example, in the kitchen, I have an idea. I play it to her. She takes the idea, gets it into her head, and then she plays it back to me. And then the idea has transformed a little bit. And maybe I can get a whole new idea. Because if you're on your own, trying to think out new things, you always end up in the same places sometimes. So it's a really nice way to go back and forth with an idea. Another way that we use a lot in the Nordic kitchen is to put yourself in a difficult situation. Constricting yourself by following the seasons really, really closely. So, for example, in the winter time, we don't use chocolate and berries, even though we could get it. And you have to be creative and use, like I do in the last dessert, Jerusalem artichoke in a dessert. So that's, yeah, we have a saying in Danish, but I don't want to translate it actually. But it's really a nice way to get the creativity going by trying to put yourself in a difficult situation.
Do you want cut? Do you want me?
Oh, yeah. Do you have the scissor, please?
Yes.
Yeah. So we just cut this open. And there is no binding agents in this one. It's just the natural egg white proteins or whatever from the langoustine. Normally it gets a little bit more grilled, I have to say. But no bad excuses today. So, yeah, okay, I'll bring it. This is the beast. Fold it up nicely. You have the butter, yes.
And how's that?
Could you put the flowers on? Okay, that was the next dish. Barbecued langoustine. Please enjoy. So next dish is a lamb dish made with Danish lamb, wrapped up in broccoli leaf, served with a lot of different springtime wild herbs. But I'll just go on with this creativity that I started talking about. One thing that helps me a lot, actually, is to do monotonous work in the kitchen. If you're stuck, can't get a new idea, it's like a writer's block, you could call it. Just peeling onions, chopping onions, doing something. It kind of helps. You can feel like the frontal lobes align, and my mind starts wandering. So if you're stuck with an idea, you should try just to peel some onions. Maybe it's going to work out. And again, you can think and think and think, but in the end, you have to work with the produce in the kitchen. You have to work again and again and again. And maybe if you're lucky, in the end, it's going to reveal a new side of itself, because that's what I'm really looking for. And then lastly, just be yourself. You know, everybody has led a life and has a story to tell. So it's important to trust in yourself and use your own experiences. Because, yeah, that's what makes us all unique. And everybody can have a good idea. So just get cracking at that. How far are we from the lamb now?
5 minutes.
All right. I'm going to talk a little bit about the herbs that we use for the lamb. So we have, this is called wild chervil. We have a herb guy who picks herbs for us. He comes twice a week. This is beautiful ramson flowers. It's blooming right now. We have some pine shoots. Really cute. Super acidic and fresh. Tastes good in savory dishes, but also in desserts. This one that's a little sad. This is called, what is it called? Onion cress. This is onion cress. Has a very distinct onion flavor. This last one is white biblomme, white honey flower.
Yeah.
Did you fry this?
Yes.
Maybe we put it on the grill, actually.
Yeah.
So we grill this on the plancha in the restaurant. Now I'm just going to put it on this.
And I brushed it with tarragon oil on the outside.
Yeah. You can start cutting.
Yeah.
All right. So after this dish, you'll all have a little sample of a thing I call Nordic Vanilla, but we'll get to that in just a couple of minutes. Got it.
Like raw.
Come on.
Okay.
So we fold it up like, what you can call it, a kebab, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can go with kebab.
So we have this really intense lamb glaze that we glaze the lamb meat with. There is a mushroom stock and some fermented honey inside, and a lot of lamb jus.
So I'm just heating up the salad sauce, and we take one of the snacks is a piece of lettuce. So the leaves that we don't use for that we make into the sauce for the lamb.
Yeah, try and explain a little bit about the sauce.
Yeah, so it's like a white wine, salad juice, butter sauce. Then we make just a basic spinach puree, and then last minute blitz in the spinach into the sauce so it makes it thick, it kind of holds on the plate. And then we grill chives on the barbecue and make an oil and split it at the end. So it's again quite a green dish.
Green dish. It is springtime, so let's have some green stuff. It's a kind of a classic taste flavor combination. Ramson, it's very garlicky with the lamb. And the lamb and the ramson is in season at the same time, so it makes pretty good sense, I think.
So normally I would hand blend this, but this hand blender doesn't have a blade. So it just doesn't work. So the whole thing about it going foamy is not really going to happen, but just imagine.
Okay. I like to use very small garnishes. So when you dive into it as a guest, you get a little bit of everything in every bite. Yeah.
And then as a second serving for the lamb, we take the breast and cook it overnight, and then portion it up and barbecue it. So the skin that we take off from that, we make crispy and put inside the leaf. So we try and use as much of everything possible.
Yeah. Are you ready with the sauce?
It's not the best sauce I've ever made.
Okay.
I'm gonna lie.
Okay. So we'll just leave the sauce on the side here. This is
Thank you.
Danish lamb tenderloin, wrapped in broccoli leaf with spring herbs. Please enjoy. All right, so now we are actually at the handing out a little flavor sample. So it would be nice if someone started doing that. Yeah, great. So this is something called, I call it Nordic Vanilla. I got the idea, again, just to try and explain the thought process behind it. I tried to make something called fossilized salsify that Mugaritz made. I saw it in a Mugaritz cookbook, and I thought it looked super interesting. And so I wanted to try and make it. And we cut it up in a wrong way, so I was like a little angry about that. So we just put it in a container and put it in a dry storage. And then it just sat there for like half a year. And one day I came back, I went past it, and I noticed that if that salsify had a black color, it had the exact same shape as a vanilla pod. So the thing we do is we make like a malt liquid with some vanilla inside. We dry, we peel, we cut and peel these salsify. We dry them out. We rehydrate them in the liquid. We dry them out. We rehydrate it. We do that 5 times until they go black-ish. And yeah, they taste really nice, I think. And I think it's fun. Many people, they hesitate a little bit because it's not normal to eat a whole vanilla bean. But you can do that right here.
I think it also, I like this dish, or this petit four, because it takes so much time to do, and it's such a small thing. But we spend maybe like 3 hours peeling them, then we have to measure them all, we have to shape them all, we have to keep cooking. It's a process that takes about 2 weeks, and it's just like one tiny element of the menu.
Yeah, that's true. Nice. Do we have the artichoke leather?
I have it. Yes.
Yeah. So I hope you're enjoying the Nordic Vanilla. So, last dessert. This is something I call burnt Jerusalem artichoke. Again, there's a little story to this one. I was trying to make this leather. I made it with onion the first time. It was for a savory dish. And I tried all sorts of things, but I couldn't make it work. I rolled it up, I put it in a plate. And then all of a sudden, a guy came past, and he said, because I spread it out on a big sheet, so it was like a big sheet like this, he said, that would be crazy if you just wrap the whole plate in that big sheet. And I thought to myself, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And on top of that, so when you wrap this around a plate, it's still kind of chewy and not that nice to eat. And then I found out that I could burn it, because there's a little bit of agar-agar inside, so it goes heat resistant. So you can actually flame throw it, and then it goes super, super crispy. Gives some smokiness to the dish, and some bitterness to the dish. So this is, I think I made this dish like 8 years ago. I don't have it on the menu right now, but I thought it would be nice to show it to you. So. Where's the siphon? Yep. So we start with a caramel siphon in the bottom. Would you give me the flamethrower, please?
Yes.
A scoop of, this is walnut ice cream. It's, we use both the walnuts and the leaves from the walnut tree. Makes it it has a lot of spicy notes, the walnut leaves, so it makes it extra interesting, I think. So we garnish here with the fresh peeled walnuts, some beech nuts. I don't know if you know this from the forest. They look like this. It's from the beech tree. Squirrels, they like to eat it, but they taste really nice. Very nutty flavor. Put that on top. And next little ingredients for this one. It's a very crazy ingredient. This is a pine cone. It is a real pine cone. And it's picked from the Scotch pine, it's called. And it has to be a female pine tree. And you have to pick it at the right moment, which is actually right now. Then you can cook it in sugar syrup, and it gets this super, super nice toffee-like consistency. And then the taste of the pine and the resin. I'll leave some up here for you to taste a little later. All right. So we wrap it up. Have to make it tight so it doesn't come off. Good. And then the flamethrower. It's been a while since I did that the last time, so maybe I'm gonna burn it.
Yeah, I'm glad you did doing this one.
This is super hot. That's it. Burnt Jerusalem artichoke with walnuts and pine cones. Just needs to cool down a little bit, then it goes super, super crispy. So I think we're at the end now, right?
Almost.
Almost at the end.
Almost.
Yeah.
Meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren, wenn ich in einem Satz zusammenfassen darf, was in den letzten 3/4 Stunden in meinem Kopf vorgegangen ist, dann, dass der Unterschied zwischen der Show von Søren und Katie und derjenigen vorher von Philipp genau das ist, was Kochen so spannend macht. Alle kochen mit Wasser, aber völlig anders. Ich habe noch nie diesen Unterschied so derart in kurzer Zeit auf den Punkt gebracht. Vorher bei Philipp Kreativität durch Chaos. Habe ich mal ein bisschen das Gefühl gehabt, auch wenn ich ihm natürlich dann mit Unrecht tue, ist klar. Und hier so straight, so klar, so gerade, so eine Linie. Also viel unterschiedlicher kann sich Kochen eigentlich fast nicht manifestieren als in den unterschiedlichen Gerichten, die sich jetzt hier darstellen. Beides ist absolut Weltklasse und beides ist so speziell. I'm just talking about the difference between you two and Philipp Rachinger before. This was creativity by chaos, and this one is so straight, so unbelievable detailed. I mean, details are very important for Philipp as well.
Yeah,
but
I know.
that this is a difference like day and night,
Yeah.
and both is world class. Wonderful. Come in front, both. Please, Katie. Yeah. One very interesting thing I thought is how you work together. The way how you create the dishes, where the ideas come from, and who decides at the end if something is good enough to get on the menu or not.
Yeah. That would be
A little
me.
more
That will be sorry.
details, please.
Yeah.
about
so,
that.
So yeah, I think that's the most important job as a head chef, is to be the one. You can get inspired by other people, of course, and you should work closely, delegating, and it's so fun to create new dishes. So it should not just be me doing it, but the final decision is mine. Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Is it sometimes hard when I mean you were investing such a lot of time to create a new dish, and then he comes and says, "Not good enough."
Well, yes, but no, I think we work a lot together, and I kind of fire ideas, and Søren takes the lead, and then quite often we get somewhere. We get an idea,
Okay.
and then we completely change the whole thing.
Okay. Because I mean, when you run 2 times into a wall with an idea, then the danger is very clear that next time you try to please instead of being creative. This is a danger?
Yeah. But I have this. I really want to see something that I haven't seen before. That's what makes me tick.
That's so easy.
And I think
Demanding, huh?
it's also very interesting for the guests to see something new that they haven't seen before. Because when you see something, it can be looking not in a specific way, but just the newness factor makes you sharpen your senses, and it makes the food taste a little bit better. That's why we put a lot of work into it, to make the food taste a little bit better.
And you said before that the main aim is that you would like, when the dish is finished, you would like to have one more bit.
Yeah.
That's the idea behind.
Yeah. In a tasting menu, I think that's very important.
It is always in your kitchen, so I mean, you could fall down a needle when you're working together. It's so smooth. It's so kind of no stress.
Not always like that.
It's not always like that. Sometimes it's stressy. Sometimes it's even a little bit loud.
It's a very controlled kitchen. I think we work hard.
I mean, I was looking at you behind the scene when you were preparing, and this was very, very controlled.
Yeah.
So I thought, where are the emotions? On the platter? Yes.
On the plate, yes.
On the platter.
I think of course, emotions are very important.
Yeah.
But if a head chef screams a lot in the kitchen.
No, it's not about screaming.
No, but if it's people kind of get a little bit afraid, and I think people should feel at home in a kitchen, and they should not be afraid. So I try not to make people afraid.
This should be a place where a woman should feel at home, because we were talking yesterday night about women working in the top level kitchens, in the top level fine dining kitchens, and we were talking loud about that not enough women are in this place.
No.
And what was your answer yesterday? Why?
Why? Well, I do think it is quite, like, it is a difficult job. Like everyone does, we all know. But like, there is a lot of stress. It is dominated by men. But I think it becomes like men. Yeah, I think it is because it's a tough job. A lot of women don't do it. But we try and make an environment that's a bit calmer and a bit nicer, and then hopefully we'll encourage.
Was it the wine yesterday that the answer was not the same as today?
I don't want this platform to be about...
You didn't say yesterday the same thing.
I know, but I want it to be...
Shall I shut up?
Yeah.
No, but
okay,
I do. But I think with...
Yeah.
But we are seeing an increasing number of super talented women in the kitchens.
Yeah, I think Beat said yesterday, the one who's the chief behind, that in Switzerland actually 50% of people working in kitchen as a chef are women, and about 63-64% of people, young people, now becoming chefs are women as well. So slowly going up. Yeah. But as always, not on the top level. So there's some work less to do. Is this one of your aims?
Yeah, but I'm hesitant to talk about it because I feel like any opportunity now, that's all we talk about. Whereas actually, yes, I am female, but it has had no relevance to my job so far. And I don't want to just be another person that talks about it when I have other things.
Is she the future Dominique Rennes?
No. I think so.
You think
Sky is the limit, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Søren and Katie, it was a pleasure to have you here on stage and to have a look at it, what you're doing every day.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you so much.